So I'm talking about my own experience about the ACS. So I feel like when I had the section and I got into the subconscious, I feel exhausted and I got some new insights and it feel like the problem is gone but like that insight is keep like it keep coming on my conscious. Like I keep thinking about that insight that I found. And after a week or two, it seems like the problem is still there.
Yeah, because we're probably still hitting on the conclusion, not the root cause. And that's the reason why a client's problems come back, is because we might nudge the root cause a little bit, but there's still a couple of knots left. Remember, you're training with people as well that are still practicing. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's a common thing. And that's why people say, I have to see my client so many times because the mind works with repetition, blah, 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 blah. Talk about another conclusion. It might in the fact with other things, but when it comes to therapy, I've seen it enough times that that's definitely not the case. That's a conclusion. And if you go into the session thinking that, what will happen to your sessions? You will have to. And that's why we talk about on day 4 with Mac, I say, don't just believe in what your guru is saying, test it for yourself. Everyone says it's got to be this, you've got to see your client for 6 sessions. It's got to be 9, it's got to be 12. Why can't it be 13 3/4? It's just a number. Why can't it be? When you get stuck in this is the only way to do it, or in therapy, you have to do all these things, you'll get caught every time. The only way to know what to do is once you've done it, because it'll either work or it won't. And that's where the testing and all that comes into it. So if you find your clients, and again, you've got to see your clients a couple more times, who cares? You're still ahead of the game anyway, because your prices are high, so you can account for that. But it's those 1 or 2 times when a client just has an absolute miraculous breakthrough, they're the ones you've got to reflect on and think, it's not about what did I say, it's usually what didn't I do that made it work so fast. That's why I spent so much time on the interview. Sometimes, honestly, I'd forget about testing. I forget about tasking and processing because it will happen anyway. But the interview was just on fire. I'm like, yep, I'm done. That's good. That's as good as it gets. And my client has a massive breakthrough. And that's why I say with ACH, people say, well, I ran out of time to do processing chat. I ran out of time to do testing and tasking. It'll happen anyway. The unconscious mind will try in those suits. All we're doing is just reinforcing that. If all you did was just the interview, everything else will take care of itself. You've just got to push that one domino over. The rest will fall over by themselves. It's when you start to control which domino you want to fall first, you'll, and this is a therapeutic term, you'll fuck it up every time. Make sense? Has anyone been to those gurus before that say it has to be this, has to be that? Be very, very careful of that. But I'm sure I've said it has to be ACH, so don't listen to me. You know what I'm saying? When you go into a session with your own preconceived ideas, you'll project those things and it will be those things. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Does that make sense? What's the one main principle we know about when a client tells us what their problem is? What's the one thing we know?
It's a symptom, not a problem.
They're lying to us. How could they not lie to us? It's just a guess. And as long as you remember that, sessions get really, really simple. When you start believing in your client's story, when you start thinking, well, my other mentor said it has to be 3 sessions, I have to do the relax and walk down the stairs and all that sort of stuff. You notice with ACH, we do nothing that everybody else says you have to do. So why does it work? Because we're relying on principles, and principles are flexible rather than strict coherence to 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. I don't know about you. I don't work like that as a human being. I like to do things as I do them. It's never linear, and therapy can't be linear because everybody's different. Does that make sense? And that little spiel is going on YouTube. That was good. Fritz, go